Welcome! Today, we are diving into a fascinating document about body-mind, or bodhisattva, specifically how it helps us cleanse ourselves of dust and defilements and even attain immeasurable lifespan. The core of this material seems to be about clearing away the vexations and impurities in our minds. So, what exactly do these dust and defilements refer to, and how does body-mind work? The document uses a very fitting analogy, timely rain. Just as rain washes away dust, body-mind helps us eliminate vexations. Here, dust, according to the Surandama Sutra, refers to thought forms, those fleeting thoughts and imaginings in our heads. As for defilements, that refers to emotional attachments, such as excessive liking or aversion. So, thought forms are dust, and emotional attachments are defilements. The key is to simultaneously distance ourselves from both these mental pollutions. This way, our Dharma I will become clear. The goal is to see through these delusive thoughts and attachments, which are like dust covering our inherent wisdom. Once swept away, that all-knowing wisdom, natural wisdom, masterless wisdom, that comprehensive, natural wisdom that doesn't need to be sought externally will naturally emerge. The document mentions that attachment is also part of defilements, and it seems particularly stubborn. It even uses the example of Elon Musk, which is quite interesting. This type of attachment, excessive liking or hatred, is categorized as defilement. The Musk example highlights a crucial pattern, his early extreme focus led to many breakthroughs. However, if his mental energy became scattered by creating controversies or other seemingly unrelated matters, his core ventures could be affected. This isn't just about time allocation. The document sees it as a misplacement of mental effort. When your thought forms and emotional attachments constantly chase external stimuli or disputes, your truly important inner goals, be they worldly achievements or spiritual growth, are naturally neglected. This is a concrete manifestation of dust obscuring wisdom. Therefore, if we let these delusive thoughts and attachments, these dust and defilements, continue to grow, it won't just affect our mood, it could truly undermine our studies, careers, and even family life, preventing us from living in the present. The document emphasizes the harm of such delusive attachments. They lead to unaccomplished life and prolonged suffering in anxiety. The core problem is that our minds, instead of focusing on the task at hand, constantly drift to irrelevant places. The document then compares the Bodhisattva path and the Sravaka path, discussing differences in their lifespan or liberation. Why are Sravakas, like Arhats, said to have a relatively short liberation? This is relative to the state pursued by Bodhisattvas. Sravaka practitioners, like Arhats, can indeed transcend segmental birth and death, which is what we commonly understand as reincarnation, the cycles of birth and death. They can reach a state of no longer being reborn. However, from the perspective of the Bodhisattva path, this is not the most fundamental or ultimate liberation. So, what is the ultimate liberation? Bodhisattvas seek to personally realize the wondrously bright true mind or true nature, which transcends birth and death and is inherently pure. This is what is meant by immeasurable lifespan. Why is it difficult for arhats who have attained results to turn towards the Bodhisattva path of benefiting sentient beings? The document uses the analogy, they are too clean, no lotuses grow in pure land. This is an interesting analogy. It points out that after arhats enter nirvana, that extremely pure, vexation-free state is incredibly comfortable and peaceful. They might fear or be unwilling to re-enter this world filled with suffering beings and seeming impurity. It's not that purity is bad, but they might develop an attachment to this state of purity, lacking the Bodhisattva's great compassion that understands there is no absolute distinction between purity and impurity, and thus fearlessly enters the world. The document uses several analogies to describe the qualities of body-mind. Pure lapis lazuli, used to describe the self-nature's clarity, free from defilements. This analogy suggests our true nature is like the purest lapis lazuli or 1,000-year unchanging porcelain, inherently clear, undefiled, and constant, transcending all relative notions of clean and dirty. Emperor's azure jewel generally refers to the highest grade azure gemstone, or wish-fulfilling jewel, possessed by the devas. It symbolizes the incomparable preciousness and immense power of body-mind. It surpasses the wisdom of the two vehicles, Suryavalkas and Pratyabhudatas, because the bodhisattva's aspiration is vast. Unlike practitioners of the two vehicles who might dwell in their personal meditative bliss or liberation, body-mind drives bodhisattvas to act with great compassion, treating the suffering of sentient beings as their own, and actively entering the world to rescue them. Night watchman's drum, like ancient watchmen beating a drum to signal time, warn of fires or thieves, the bodhisattva acts as this warning drum, constantly reminding sentient beings slumbering in ignorance and vexations to wake up. However, tragically, if someone sleeps too deeply, completely lost in their world of delusive thoughts, they simply won't hear the drum. The document even uses a rather strong term, likening uncontrollable delusive thoughts and attachments to a pathological state, somewhat akin to mental illness, suggesting we often lose self-control without realizing it. This is a very severe warning. The document uses this analogy to emphasize that when a person is firmly controlled by delusive thoughts, unable to be their own master, that state is like losing the ability for self-control. They might even lack the illness awareness that something is wrong, just like some severely ill patients don't feel they are sick. They are sick with confusion. At this point, they need the Dharma medicine, the wisdom and methods of Buddhism for treatment. If one doesn't actively confront this spiritual illness will only worsen, ultimately consuming oneself in suffering. This indeed sounds like a serious warning. It means we all need to constantly self-reflect and observe our thoughts, seeing if we are being controlled by certain fixed patterns of delusive thinking. We need continuous self-awareness and the application of wisdom to counter these harmful delusive thoughts and attachments. Otherwise, as the document warns, old vexatious habits can easily resurface, possibly even leading to the severe loss of the ability to judge right from wrong. And getting to that point would be very troublesome. In conclusion, the document we discussed today repeatedly emphasizes the crucial importance of recognizing and clearing the dust and defilements within our minds, our delusive thoughts and attachments. And to arouse and practice body-mind is like the timely rain washing away dust, like that inherently pure lapis lazuli, self-nature clear and undefiled, and like the watchman's drum reminding those still dreaming. Core message of this summary is to continuously awaken ourselves, to use wisdom to counter delusive thoughts and attachments, and simultaneously cultivate a clear mind and compassionate actions. Only in this way can we gradually escape the cycle of suffering and ultimately move towards true awakening. Finally, here's a question for everyone to ponder. The document mentions that our delusive thoughts and attachments will endlessly loop, like electrons orbiting an atomic nucleus, thereby shaping the form and experiences of our future lives. So, take a quiet moment to reflect. What thoughts or attachments most frequently revolve in your mind right now? And what kind of future might they be leading you towards?